This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partner, Warpfire Minis. Baron of Dice is the exclusive dice supplier for Season of War. Take a look through their incredible designs or even get your own custom dice made.
A great catastrophe looms over the mortal realms. The forces of the Grand Alliances wage relentless war, each seeking to claim dominion over forgotten strongholds and the raw powers they conceal. Now, in the lightning-raked heights of the storm-cradle peaks, a clash of madness and malice threatens to shake the mountain's very foundation. From the depths of fungal caves and web-choked warrens, the Gloomspite Gitz surge into battle, led by Trugg, the Troggoth King, who is backed by hulking Troggoths and towering Arachnarok spiders. Driven by lunatic rage, they seek to claim the peaks as their own, undeterred by the thunder above or the deathly silence that stirs in the mist. But death does not sleep in the storm cradle. Riding with the storm comes Reikenor the Grimhaler, leading a ghostly host of hex-wraiths in a tide of spectral vengeance. Cloaked in the tempest, the Nighthaunt sweep forward, silent, swift, and merciless, as they seek to drag the living down into the mists of the afterlife. In today's matched play battle, our generals fight not only for victory, but for the pride of their grand alliances. The outcome will shape the path of the campaign, and when the final battles are fought, the powers claimed in places like this may tip the balance of power in the realms. Earlier this week, battle was met in the Luminous Grotto, as the Glotkin led a tide of Blight Kings and Chaos Worshippers against the deranged monsters of Ushuran and the Flesh Eater courts. To watch that match, and every battle in the campaign, consider joining our channel membership. Your support is invaluable in helping us to continue making and improving our battle reports. Now that you know the stakes, let's head to the battlefield for this chapter in the Season of War.
Hello and welcome to Season of War and another game of Age of Sigmar in our campaign that we have going on between all the Grand Alliances, fighting for ultimate supremacy and control of this realm. And Ryan, today we have a match between the Gloomspite Gitz and Nighthaunt. Actually a match we played not too long ago, but with the opposite armies.
Exactly. And you had one or two more goblins than I do.
Yes, a few more. But then for the campaign, we are fighting over the Viridian Vale, so obviously whoever wins this match will claim the territory for their Grand Alliance, and there's perks that go along with it that you can learn about by following the link in the description to our campaign map. But otherwise, Ryan, we can get on to the game. And the mission we're playing is Close to the Chest. So there's 6 objectives on the table, but scoring is a little different with you getting just 1 point for one objective, 1 point for 2 or more objectives, but then 2 points for holding more objectives than your opponent, and 2 points if you hold your opponent's primary objective. On each player turn, the opponent will choose one of the 4 objectives in their territory to be the primary, so that's where the extra 2 points come. And then there's normal battle tactic scoring, and the twist is if you are the underdog, on a 5-up, you can make your opponent choose a new primary objective. But that is it for the mission. So Ryan, do you want to take us through your list?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Gloomspite Gitz. I'm in the Trogg sub-faction, which means I've got Trugg, I've got a Trogg boss, and a unit of 6 Rockgut Troggoths. The Trogg boss has the heroic trait Loon Touched, so he's a level 1 wizard, and then he's also got the Clammy Cowl, so he's -1 to be hit. So pretty standard. I think those are the most common ones taken, so probably no surprises there. Where things get a little bit more unusual is I have 3 Skitterstand Arachnaroks. One is, I can't remember what they're called, but it's their Deep Strike. They have a special rule for it, but Deep Striking off the table. And then finally I have another Arachnarok, but this one's with a Flinger, which that's the catapult that lowers movement. It got nerfed a lot this edition, so it's not nearly as good as it was before, but thought I'd give it a whirl. I haven't put it on the table in a while, so that's cool. And then finally, I have the Spiderweb Shaman on foot over here, which is really fun because he's got a Spider-Man ability, which lets him like zip around from terrain to terrain in the hero phase, which makes him incredibly mobile. He can do like 20 inches in the hero phase. And that's pretty much my army.
Awesome. Well, obviously facing off against them is the Nighthaunt. And as I said, I've built pretty heavily into the Hex Wraiths because I love cavalry. And when you have the models to field a full cavalry army, you can't not do it once in a while. But leading the force is Reikenor the Grimhailer. He is my general, and in his regiment are the 3 units of 10 Hex Wraiths. Each unit is reinforced. And then it also includes the unit of 2 Dreadblade Heroes. And then I just have one other regiment, which is led by the Guardian of Souls. He has both of my enhancements. So one is Ruler of the Spear Host to bring back a unit at half strength once per game. And then the Light Shard of the Harvest Moon is once per game ability to give +1 attack out. And the only thing in his regiment is a black coach because it's awesome. And I don't know if I've ever run one before.
I ran 2 in the first game of this whole edition.
Yes, sir. But
it went well.
Yep, it did actually. I remember that painfully. But that is going to be it. And I was the attacker here, so I'll get to choose my seasonal buff first. And I'm just going to choose Anti-Monster on my center unit of Hex Wraiths.
I'm going to do priority target on my big unit of Rocket Troglodytes.
All right, and we were both 2 drops, so me being the attacker allowed me to deploy first. And I will have choice of who goes first, so I'm, as normal, going to give away the turn, and we can jump into Gloomspite Gitz, turn 1.
All right, well, I think I'm going to go for Seize the Center. Okay, my wheel's going to start in Scowlin, which is a little awkward, but I don't want the Venom buff yet, so we'll see how that goes. But Scowling will give my Troglodytes their defensive buff for this battle round. As for other things, I do need to roll on Trug's table. Rolling 3 dice for Trug's table. I will be going with the Glyph of Gur, which is a 12-inch aura of +1 attacks to Trogs. Moving on to casting, my Trog boss is going to try and cast the Cauldron. Trog boss fails to cast the Cauldron, unfortunately. And then my little Spiderfang hero is going to try and cast his built-in spell, which gives advance or run and charge to one of the spiders near him, which will be casting on the spider on the far side here. He fails at as well. Okay, my little Spiderweb Shaman is going to go for a Spider-Man move on a 2-up. He succeeds, which means he can teleport to any terrain piece within 18 inches. And he's just going to zip up here where it's nice and safe. And that'll be my hero phase. That'll be my movement phase. So we'll go into the shooting phase. So I'm going to start with the Flinger. And end with the Flinger, because that's my only shooting. I'm going to put into, I guess, the big unit of Hex Wraiths. So the crappy bows from the Flinger are going to go into the Dreadblade Heroes. So we're going to attack with the Flinger. So it gets D3 shots for 1, hitting on a 4. It misses. And then we'll get 10 shots from the crew. And these are hitting on 4s. 2 wounds at no rend.
Both go through,
All
6
right.
up wards. We save 1.
They're 3 damage each. Yeah, I guess that's my turn. I'm holding 3 objectives. I scored my battle tactic. Other than that, I did 1 wound. It was an exciting turn.
Yeah, very thrilling, but notably, I guess I don't mind it from a Nighthault perspective.
Yeah, I really wish the Flinger had hit so I could have halved your movement. It would have made, I mean, I don't know what you're going to do with that big unit of Hex Wraiths, but halving their movement really messes with your options, but you have to hit with it. In last edition, for those who have never played with that thing, it used to get a shot per model in the unit, and they reduced it to D3. That's a bit of a nerf. It also lost a point of rend, and I think it used to be 3s and 3s instead of 4s and 3s, so it got way, way, way worse. But it's interesting still, and if I can half your movement, it's still definitely good. So.
Yep, and yeah, with that, Ryan, you do store 8 points because my primary was over here in the corner, and you hold more because you've jumped on this one. So yeah, the full 8 points, which is pretty standard for this mission. And I guess we can jump into Nighthaunt, turn 1. All right, my battle tactic is going to be take the flanks here, so I have to have a unit within 6 inches of each short battlefield edge and not wholly within my territory. And then into spellcasting, I am going to have Reichenor deal a wound to himself, snuffing out a corpse candle to give himself +1 to cast and an extra power level. And his first cast is going to be Shade Mist onto these Hex Wraiths, which will go off with an 8.
I will stop it. No, I won't. I will not stop it.
All right, so that is going to make them -1 to be wounded. And then for his second cast, I'm going to go for the Incarnate and get that on an 11.
All right, well, I need to show a 12. I showed a 2.
The Hex Wraiths use Discorporate, granting them a 5-up ward save for the rest of the turn.
And then I will spend a command point to rally Reichenor, and he heals the 1 wound back. And that is going to be it for my hero phase.
All right, I will go for a cast. I'm going to try and cast my moon. We'll do it from the Spider Shaman. 7, I don't think does it? No, it does not.
All right, then into movement. And then I'm going to teleport the Black Coach over to harass your Loon Shrine. And that is going to be it for my movement. And then I do have some shooting here with the Black Coach actually, and it's going to just put its shots into your closest spider. 1 wound at run 2.
So I'll have a 6-up save. No save.
2 damage.
All right, you do 2 damage to my spider. He's pissed off now.
And then we are going to get into charges, and I'll start off with the Hex Wraiths over here for a 9. And the Black Coach's impact hits for 3. And then as far as the Nighthaunt debuffs go, I am going to do -1 to save onto this spider and -1 to hit on your other one. And that's going to be it for my charge phase. And because this spider is so debuffed going into them, I am going to go with the Black Coach first, putting all his attacks in here.
Okay, I will go for an all defense here.
The Black Coach deals just 4 damage to a spider. Then another Arachnarok uses all-out attack and takes down a single Hex Wraith.
And then I'm going to attack with the Hex Wraith, spending a command point for all-out attack. And we'll start off with the Rider Scythes. So 3s. That'll be 8 at rend 1.
You do 10? He has 1 wound left right now. Can the horses finish him?
Let's find out. Going with the steeds. 4s. And the horses will get 8 attacks through, no rend.
I didn't even come close. All right, well, it's me. Again, Skitterstrand Arachnarok beating on a Black Coach. Only 3 mortal wounds. Missed with all the other attacks. And then the legs. 2 saves, 1 damage each.
Save them both. And the mortals, we will suffer all 3. And that's going to wrap up Nighthaunt turn 1, and I'm pretty happy with the way things went. I'm kind of avoiding your death ball of trolls in the center. I could have legitimately thrown all 3 units of Hex Rays into them. I'm not going to wipe them or anything, but I really just don't want to be tied up in the center and allow your spiders to run onto all the objectives while I'm stuck in the middle. So that's where we're trying to put you in a bind, force you to choose a direction to go, and none of them are appetizing because they're all pretty far or back into your own territory. Yep. So I'm happy to score the 8 points here, but I had a chance at the 10. I just couldn't finish off the spider, which isn't really surprising.
Yeah, it was very unlikely in one go.
The Black Coach isn't too crazy. He actually did 5 mortals between the shooting, or 5 damage between the shooting and impact. So I'm like, oh, there's maybe hope. But then just 2 damage in combat. Yep. And that'll leave us tied going into priority for round 2.
Oh, I still beat you.
Yeah, Ryan rolls a 2 to my 1 now.
I mean, I gotta take it, otherwise I think all my spiders are dead.
We'll jump into Gloomspite Gitz, turn 2. And starting off, my primary objective is going to be over here in the top right corner, trying to bait Ryan to spread out.
We will go for a Do Not Waver. I think that's very reasonable this turn. Trug rolls on his chart. So we're going to go with Glyph of Command, which will give him a Trug a 5-up ward. And then going into casting, the Spiderweb Shaman is going to go with Bad Portents to try and rotate the moon, which he gets with a 7. Okay, so Bad Portents roll. Yep, I can go wherever I want.
You got a 6.
No, we'll move it to my whole army gets their buff. 1 more cast from my Trog boss. He'll go for the Cauldron, which he gets with a 6.
I will try to unbind it, but I fail to.
All right, he gets a cauldron, which means he also gets another spell because that increases his level by 1. We'll just go for a malevolent moon, which get with a 10. Oh, and in my hero phase?
I will spend a command point to rally my Hex Wraiths over here who lost a guy, and I get him back.
All right, movement phase. And then I'm gonna bring in another spider somewhere. That'll be my movement phase.
And I will spend a command point to redeploy those Hex Wraiths in the corner
I hate you.
for 6.
I hate you so much right now. Into the shooting phase. I'm going to shoot all my trogs at your black coach on 5s. 3 wounds
4 ups, we save 2.
for 3 wounds.
Wards, we take all 3.
Then my flinger is going to do some flinging. All the crappy little bows from the flinger are going to go into the black coach. And then I'm going to shoot the flinger into that Hex Wraiths unit over there. So we'll start with the flinger, which will get 1 shot again. Hitting on 4s, it misses. And then the bows. On 5s, 2 wounds.
1 goes through, and I suffer another damage.
All right.
Taking 7 now.
That's my shooting phase. Charging, we will go for a charge with the spider with flinger. And it makes it with barely. That'll be my charge phase. Going into combat. So the spider with flinger has an ability called Beast Binding Webbing that on a 3-up I reduce the attacks characteristics of companion weapons by 1, which would be pretty good into Hex Wraiths, but not super effective here. I fail, so it doesn't matter. I guess I go first with the one with the flinger because it has more attacks than the one without the flinger, and they're kind of the same. So, 4 attacks from the legs, and 5s are good now because we're under the correct moon. So you have 3 mortals and 4 saves.
We fail 3,
So you're at 6 so
6
far,
damage.
and I still have crappy spears to throw at you.
Well, let me roll the wards. We do save 2, so we've got 1 wound left.
Well, these crappy spears are hitting on 5s. 1 hit. Wow, that was pitiful. But it does wound.
We fail the save. We go down to a crappy spear.
Good job, crappy spears. So I think that's my turn. It didn't super go well. It didn't go terrible. I was really hoping to get on the objective. Because now I'm not even gonna have hold. Oh, it doesn't even matter. I would have had to get 2 to get hold more. But this was the primary. It would have been nice to get on that.
Yep.
You rolled a really big redeploy, which made my long charge basically impossible, unfortunately. I had 3 chances to get long charges. This one didn't really matter. It would have gone into the black coach, which obviously I didn't need more help over there. But the one here would have been nice. I could have charged in here, tagged this objective, would have scored me a bunch of points. It is what it is. That's the only thing that didn't go well. Obviously the spider killing your guy. The flinger once again completely whiffed, which is unfortunate. I'm trying to use that to slow down your maneuverability because you're just so much faster than me, but it's just so unreliable. D3 shots and a 4-up to hit is just not great. So I'm in an okay position, not terrible. I know I'm gonna be down on points, but I'm not super vulnerable. Yeah. I think I lose a spider next turn. I don't know if there's anything I can do against that, but that's hopefully it.
Yeah, you do score 6 points here. So hold 1, hold 2 is 1 point each, and then the battle tactic for 4 more. So 6 points, putting you up to 14.
Yeah, picked up a black coach, not too shabby.
Yep.
Brace for impact, I guess.
Yes, sir. Well,
yeah.
Let's see how it goes as we jump into Nighthaunt, turn 2. All right, Ryan, what objective is going to be your primary?
That one.
Makes sense. So for the battle tactic, I'm going to go for Do Not Waver as well. So fight with 2 units and have none slain. And then Reikenor is going to snuff out one of his own corpse candles to get +1 to cast and the extra casting level. I'm going to try and cast Shade Mist onto these Hex Wraiths. Would have failed that on a 4. And I guess the Guardian of Souls will just try and cast Spectral Allure on itself. which it also fails. And that is going to be it for my hero phase.
Right.
And then I will spend a command point for Discorporate onto this unit of Hex Wraiths. And then I'll just jump into movement. I am going to teleport the Dreadblade Harrows. And then I am going to use the run and charge ability onto this unit of Hex Wraiths and run them for 5 inches. And that's it for my movement.
I will go for a redeploy on the spider to try and get him, at least give you a harder charge. I roll a 5, so I do give you a harder charge.
And then we will get into charges, and I will go first with that unit of Hex Wraiths at the top. They're getting a 7, and I do have to spend the CP to re-roll that into an 11. And for my Nighthaunt charge abilities, I'm gonna make this spider -1 to hit, and that one -1 to save.
Okay. Well, we'll go for the counter charge. We measured it's about a 7. Going with the counter charge, the flinger, which I fail.
So then we will go into combat with the Hex Wraiths at the top. I don't have any CP for all their attack, nor do you, but they're gonna put all their attacks into the spider. With the riders, that's gonna be 7 at effectively Ren 2.
I saved 3.
So that will be 8 damage going through. And then we have the horses, and they'll be on 5s and 3s. And the horses will get 7 attacks through. Rend 1 because the -1 to save.
5s, he's dead. All right, my spider's gonna fight your Hex Wraiths. He is -1 to hit, but hopefully we'll do some mortals with the bites. So 4 attacks and the bites. 6 mortals. So you have 1 save at damage 3, 1 save at damage 1.
So damage 3 goes through.
So it's 9 damage so far.
And damage 1 also goes through. We only have 6 up wards here, and we failed to save any, so you will take out 3 Hex Wraiths. And then the remaining Hex Wraiths will fight back into your spider.
The Hex Wraiths in the west attack and take down the Arachnarok. Next, the malevolent moon deals a single damage to the Kronspine Incarnate, which itself then attacks the trolls, but deals no damage. Lastly, the Trogs get to fight back and deal 5 damage to the Kronspine.
And that's going to wrap up Nighthaunt turn 2, and I'm super happy with that one, because notably we got in and took down 2 spiders, which I honestly did not expect. Knowing that I had to use the CP for the reroll, which was also fortunate for getting into combat, because if I hadn't have got that unit in, I would have had to get another unit into combat for my battle tactic, which would have meant these guys would have been charging. And you then, even if I just tagged Trog or the other guy, even if I, assuming I make the charge, you could counter charge the other one there and had an easy charge, which would have been less ideal.
Yeah.
But here we did what we wanted to do, which is, again, swamp the outsides, kill your fast stuff, ignore the trolls. I was hoping to maybe take one down with the Kronspine, but that didn't happen, so it is what it is. So all things told, can't complain that we lost 3 Hex Wraiths here, but again, not the end of the world. We are into priority though for round 3. Ryan, I rolled a 4, yours is cocked.
5? Wow, I rolled high. I mean, I gotta take it, I think. Otherwise, you're just gonna swarm me and I'm gonna be in deep trouble.
I guess with that, we'll jump into Gloomspite Gitz, turn 3. And my primary objective is going to be over here this time.
I'll take their land on the that big tower right there. We're gonna roll on Trog's table. We're going to go with the aura of +1 attack because I need to get some damage home. All right, well we'll start by trying to banish the Incarnate with the Trog boss. 7.
Which fails, so it sticks around.
My Spiderweb Shaman will go for Spore Maws, which targets up to 3 visible units within 12, so it'll probably hit them and the Kronspine. He succeeds on a 10.
We'll try to unbind it. I tie it.
All right, so it's just 2 up D3, so we'll do them for 1. Oh, it didn't even do any.
And we ward it.
Let's do up T3. And then the Kronspine will take 2.
Which he does.
Okay, and then I still have 1 cast, so might as well try and cast the Scuttle Tide. Like, I've got nothing else to cast, so, which I'll get on a 7.
And I fail to unbind.
And that's the end of my hero phase.
I will spend a command point to rally my Hetraiths over here. And we bring 1 back.
Oh, they're so hard to kill.
And I will discorporate this unit of Hetraiths over on the right.
That'll be my movement phase. All my shots from the spider the spider with the flinger is going to go into those Hexwraith units, starting with D3 from the flinger. 2 shots this time on 4s, 1 hits, 1 wounds, no rend, 1 damage.
It goes through,
Okay.
but we ward it.
It doesn't have to do damage though. It just had to hit, so you're at half movement. I don't know if it'll matter, but. And then we've got the bow shots. 1 wound.
It goes through, and we take a damage.
All right. Charges, charging with the flinger. And it kicks in with 11. Now I get the long charge. Trog will go in with a 4. Nope, we'll re-roll that. I got lots of CP. 6 will get me there. So that'll be my charge phase. I do have a rampage over there on a 3-up. All your companions have -1 to attack. No. Oh, well, we'll do the rampage for the aura +1 attack from the Trog boss. No. Crushing grip. I just gotta beat your health characteristic and you're just dead. Yes.
So you will slay a Hetraith.
And into combat. I'm gonna go with the spider first because I think it's in trouble if I don't.
The spider kills a single Hexwraith. Then the Hexwraiths in the north deal 5 damage to the Trog boss. The Trogs then wipe out the Kronspine, and the Hexwraiths in the west deal 4 damage to the Arachnarok through all-out defense.
All right, now it's time to fight with Trug. And he'll go for the all-out attack. So 5 attacks from the club on 2s. You have 4 saves to make. And then 3 from the Mighty Antlers on 3s. And then 2s. 1 from the Mighty Antlers.
So the 4 saves from the club, we save just 1.
So that's 9 damage so far.
And the antlers, we fail to save as well.
For, that's 5 damage.
Ward saves, we save 2, we're gonna take 12, which is 4 Hetraiths.
All right, Dank Old Trog Boss. He's gonna have 6 attacks because he's also in that +1 attack aura. And these are gonna hit on 4s. 2.
Save 1.
For 4 damage.
We ward 1, another Hetraith cleanly dies.
Well, Trog, you did decently well. Trog Boss could have done better. And that'll be my turn. It was not great. I mean, I was in a tough spot, but we had a lot of my abilities failed, which would have given me potentially an edge.
Yeah, that Usher attack notably is the big one of potentially.
Yeah. Or over here, the fact that he had 4 Fang attacks and none of them went through. Puts me in a rough spot. I do heal though, D6 to him for 4, so he's pretty much back to full health.
And scoring-wise, you executed basically your plan from the start, but like 6 points were on the table.
Yep.
Anything more was unrealistic. You got your 6. But yeah, I guess that'll send us into Nighthaunt, turn 3. All right, my battle tactic this round is going to be marked for the grave, and because this spider is a non-hero enemy unit, I can target him. So I have to kill that spider. And then Reichenor is going to snuff out another one of his corpse candles, and his first spell is going to be Spectral Allure onto my Hetraiths.
No, don't do that.
And I'll get that off on a 13.
I can't stop it.
So I'll get to return 4 wounds worth of models, but that's just 1 model. And then Reichenor will try and cast Shade Mist on them and get that on a 9. So they will be -1 to wound now as well. And then I'll have the Guardian of Souls try to cast the Incarnate again. And we'll fail that on a 3. And that's gonna be it for my hero phase. So into movement, I'm going to have that unit of 4 Hex Wraiths. I'm going to give them the ability from the sub-faction to retreat and charge. And that's going to be it for my movement.
So I will go for a redeploy with the Trogs in the middle to try and get closer to you to maybe have a reasonable charge. A 1 ain't gonna do it.
And then into charges, I do get to charge when I'm in combat. We're gonna go with this unit of Hex Wraiths first. For a 6. And then we'll get to do impact mortals from the 2 units of Hex Wraiths.
Probably only 1.
But they both fail, though we will get to make the spider -1 to save and -1 to hit.
Okay. I will do my rampage to try and reduce your companions. We'll do the bigger unit. I succeeded. -1 attack on all your companions in that 1 unit. They've been webbed.
All right, well, we are going to fight with that unit first. So 8 Hex Wraiths, putting all their attacks into your spider, and I am going to go for the all-out attack.
I will go for the all-out defense because it's the only chance at surviving. I don't think it's going to be enough, but...
So on 3s and 4s here, that'll be 9 at effectively Ren 2.
I saved 3, so you've done 12 damage so far, which perfectly kills him.
And that's going to wrap up a pretty quick Nighthaunt turn 3. Again, like, we don't really want to engage the trolls at all, and I've continued to just avoid them. They're still in the center, we're on the flanks, and we are scoring 8 points again here. I obviously did not go for your primary, but now taking out your last spider and effectively having all the outer objectives. The speed of the trolls is going to be their undoing, it seems. And Ryan, we can head into priority for round 4.
I'll roll a 3.
I roll a 3 as well, you win ties.
I guess I'll take it, there's no reason not to.
All right, into Gloomspite Gitz, turn 4. And my primary is going to be this left corner one again.
I'm gonna make you change your mind on a 5-up. No. For my battle tactic, we'll go attack on 2 fronts. Rolling on Trug's tree, 4, 6, 6. Guess we'll go for the ward save. Spiderweb Shaman's gonna go for rotate the moon, which he succeeds on.
I'll try to unbind it. I tie it, you got it.
So let's see what it does. It fails. We'll try. It's the unlimited spell, so we'll try again with the Trog boss. Success.
We'll try another unbind. I fail.
And I fail again. Going into the movement phase. Yeah, I guess we'll auto run and just run onto this objective. That'll be my movement phase. Done.
And I will spend a CP here to redeploy those Hex Wraiths over in the corner.
Be cool. Roll 1.
A 2.
So we will charge with, I guess we'll go for the Trogs first. And yes, I'll CP reroll it.
A 9, not enough anymore.
No. Trug. Nope. Scuttletide, I guess. It makes it in barely with a 4. All right, we have 8 attacks from the Scuttletide. No wounds, so you just have 2 mortals.
We suffer both the mortals, and then I am going to have the Hex Wraiths fight back. The Riders will put 6 attacks through.
It's got 2 wounds left. You do 4.
And then the Mounts.
Well,
8 6s.
It's just dead off that if you want to be.
We got it.
So that's my turn. It went real bad. Obviously, I didn't have a lot of options. Like, it's in a situation where, like, I was making some cool play and everything went bad. I had a outside chance at getting my battle tactic. Basically, what I needed to happen was for me to roll high enough on the run with this hero, or make one of these charges.
Yeah, because I couldn't redeploy everywhere, and you were basically challenging potentially 3 objectives.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I rolled a 1 on the run roll, and even with a reroll on the charge, it was not good enough to get in.
Because you needed the auto run. You could only auto run one of the units, so you're in a bind.
So, failed the battle tactic. I did take this objective, so I do have 2 objectives.
Yeah, so you'll score 2.
But unfortunately, I mean, the other thing that really hurt was I had a redeploy on your turn to get closer to have a chance of making a reasonable, and I rolled a 1. I think that's what really sealed this one being extremely hard.
Could have put you in a much better spot,
Yeah,
obviously.
like
6
even
inches closer is on the objective.
I mean, even a 2 on that, I made a 9 for the charge roll I would have been in. So
yeah, that's true.
it's really unfortunate. I didn't even move my moon. I probably should have moved the moon, but it's okay. I failed both of the rotate the moons. It wouldn't have mattered, but it would have put me in maybe a better position for the next turn. Yeah. I'm so far behind, I don't see a path back now, but...
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but we can just jump into a quick, I guess, Nighthaunt turn 4.
My priority target is this one right here.
Yeah, your home objective. All right, into my hero phase, I'm going to go for Take Their Land, and I'm going to nominate this terrain piece over here. And then Reikenor is just going to try and summon the Incarnate, which will fail on a 7 because I didn't snuff the Corpse Candle. But I will then spend a command point to allow him to rally, and he'll heal the wounds on him. And that is going to be it for my hero phase. And then we'll jump into movement. So into charges, I'm going to go with the Hex Wraiths. We'll start with the unit of 4. They're making it in. And then we'll have our Impact Mortals into your hero. One's going to go through for 2 damage. And the Hex Wraiths are also going to make the hero, your Trog boss, -1 hit and save.
Okay.
And that's going to be it for my charge phase.
I'll go for a charge with my Trogs. They need a 7. They get a 9. I do my Rampage for +1 attack aura and get it on a 6.
And we will start off combat with the Hex Wraiths over here into your Trog boss, putting the larger unit in, and we will go for the all-out attack here. So we'll be on 3s and 4s here, and I am for once going to remember that they are anti-monster, so they will be rend 3. Oof. And we have 5 auto wounds, which is going to cut through a save and take down the Trog boss.
All right, I'm fighting you with my Trogs. You have 7 saves to make.
We'll fail 4 of them, so that'll be 12 damage. But we've got wards. We made 3, so you will kill 3 Hex Wraiths. And then those Hex Wraiths will fight back. And the Riders will put 7 attacks through.
On 4s, fail 4, but I have 5 up wards, so you do 2 damage.
And then the Mounts will get 9 attacks through. Yeah. 4 wounds, we can't kill a troll. That's why we didn't go into combat with them. And that's going to wrap up Nighthaunt turn 4. Pretty much, again, it feels like it's kind of winding down here. You did make a counter charge with the Trogs. It does take that objective for you, but again, the Ethereal, hard for them to deal with. I do retake another objective. I get my battle tactics, so I'm scoring 8 points again. And even though I haven't done your primary ones, obviously just building that lead up. And then Ryan, we can look at priority for round 5. That's a 3.
Are you gonna double me?
And no, there is no reason for me to take the turn here. I know you're in a bad spot, so I'll give it away over to Gitz.
We can probably just talk it out here. There's no possible way for me to recover enough points to win. Even if some miracle happened and I somehow made a long charge with him, killed that whole unit, which isn't gonna happen, but if it happened and I killed this whole unit, I still can't win. Yeah, so
just behind a lot in points right now.
Yep.
And we were talking, you don't really have a viable tactic.
Yeah, so the miracle point here is I get 2 points here and I'm still down 8. Yes. And the game ends.
And I then have my turn. So,
yeah.
So 2 points for the Gloomspite Gitz, probably this in round 5, getting hold 1 and hold 2. And I still have Inevitable Demise as a battle tactic, which is have 2 units wholly in enemy territory outside 9. I can easily do that with Reikenor and either, if not both, units of Hex Wraiths. So that would, for me, likely be another 8-point turn, assuming you make one of these your primary.
I mean, it's obviously going to be this one,
yeah,
which you wouldn't be able to take. So I would deny you those 2, but it's not enough to do anything meaningful.
Yeah, so another 8 points here at the end for the Nighthaunt.
Unfortunately, that was a rough one for this army. I mean, I finally did get to win some prios, which, as normal members would know, hasn't been a thing for a while, so that felt good. But unfortunately, this was a match where I couldn't really take advantage of it. Obviously, the Trogs struggle because they can't outrun Hex Wraiths. Maybe if I had a whole army of trogs, I can just like jump on 3 objectives and stand there. But I didn't have enough trogs to do that.
And I was able to pick on the spiders, which are obviously the weaker, softer
So,
target.
unfortunately, it made it a really tough match from the very start, and failed a lot of spells and things.
You
which
know
didn't
what?
help.
I think when we were talking about this during the game, the probably linchpin moment was when you redeployed 5 inches with your spider, and I rerolled my charge into an 11.
Yeah, that
if I
was
failed
huge.
that charge, I potentially failed my battle tactic, and you have your spider, you'd have to dictate the engagements over there. So.
That would have been huge. So that was big.
But just to finalize the score, Ryan, you would be at 24 and I would be at 40. But it was actually, I think, a lot of fun to replay this matchup, flipping armies and having completely different lists. Both times Nighthaunt pulled out the victory, which obviously we've seen the strengths of them for a long time this edition.
And Hex Wraiths are just great. I mean, everybody knows it. That's nothing new to anyone here.
You can't tie them up. They're always likely getting their +1 damage on the charge. And like you said, it's like, yeah, they chip you down, they do enough, but they're not going to lift something like the trolls. But that's where they just.
But they
try to
have
do everything
just
else.
enough damage on the charge to lift a 13 wound spider, we learned.
Yes, yeah, pretty precise. Now, it would have been a little smoother had I remembered earlier in the game the anti-monster +1 on
But it didn't
rend.
matter. You still killed every spider on the charge. So they have just enough damage. The spiders at only 13 wounds. The bigger one, the one with the has 16, but you had chipped it a bit, so you still got it down on the charge. And there's just not a lot to do. Like, I can't hide, I can't, they're just too big. Like, and they get in each other's way for counter charges. I wish they were better this edition, but they're just not. And I mean, there's a reason I took the Trog sub-faction, because the sub-faction for them is kind of useless.
But Ryan, that'll wrap up things for us today. We've got the Viridian Veil here being conquered by the Nighthaunt for the Grand Alliance of Death. So another territory for them heading into the final few weeks of our campaign. So guys, we hope you've been enjoying not only this game, but the campaign overall, and we look forward to seeing you in another battle report.
As the storm clouds break and the last echoes of battle fade across the peaks, the Nighthaunt stand victorious. With relentless swiftness and spectral fury, they overwhelm the Gloomspite force, sweeping aside their monstrous beasts and claiming the Storm Cradle peaks for the forces of death. With this triumph, they seize a vital foothold in the campaign, one that may prove decisive when the final battles are fought. But as this conflict draws to a close, we invite you to join us for the next chapter in the Season of War.